The Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC has been out for a couple of days now, and while it might be very difficult to believe, I've been through all of the content that the DLC has to offer so far. That is until the drift feed starts. So was it worth the wait? Was it worth the months of nothing happening in GTA or Rockstar in general? Let's discuss. Let's start off with the bounties. I'm standing here in front of the bail office about to start my adventure as none other than John the Bounty Hunter. Here, I'm introduced to your mother, world-renowned for her many shapes and sizes, most of which will surely lead to an early death. There's a total of 24 bounties in the bail office, 6 of which are the most wanted ones, which are a little bit more involved with them actually being contact missions and there being a bit more variety and a bit more something special to it. I've played 4 of them so far at the time of recording, and I think that there's a nice variety to them. The first one basically had your traditional go here, kill a bunch of dudes and capture the target, but the second one was already kind of switching things up by having you go to the movie studio and then for some reason making you figure out, gee, I sure wonder where that executive office is that is not been in single player all this time. I'm quite curious how many non-single player playing players were struggling to figure out where it was. And the third one was a little bit more simplistic than that, I feel, but it was still kind of cool to have like that reference to The Rock and, you know, like a dude just coming out with like fully fleshed armor, and I guess kind of like that suggestion that I had of having enemies like having different kinds of armor levels and that sort of stuff, but it didn't really seem to do a whole heap because you just shot it with a minigun or with a railgun a bunch of times, and the enemies protecting the dude itself. But the fourth bounty is by far the coolest one, with also changing up the formula a bunch, with mixing some, you know, regular shooting with some stealth, as well as the fact that when you finally capture the target, you have to actually escort him to the van and then, you know, get a backup van. Like, there's a lot more going on to really just switch up the regular formula of like go here, capture bounty and drive him back, which in my opinion really makes these missions a lot more interesting than just your box standard regular bounties. However, it would be really nice if Rockstar wouldn't have the first bounty from the first day on day 5, because for some bizarre reason they are not rotating them in order in the first week, but instead they are already going by a random order in the very first week, because it's not like everyone wants to, you know, check out the first bits of new contact missions and most wanted targets in the game on day 1. No, not allowed. But at the very least, is GTA Online's take on the legendary bounties in Red Dead Online. While this might sound crazy to some of you, Red Dead Online did the bounties DLC and especially the legendary bounty stuff way better. It might also be because that's kind of the vibe of the game or whatever, but yeah, the legendary bounties in Red Dead Online were more involved, were a lot more difficult, more intense, and they were just way more interesting in my opinion. But, you know, I guess this is what we got in GTA Online. It was fine. I'm standing here in front of the bail office computer about to look up some miners to chat with on Twitch. The regular bounties follow a more simple approach, like your traditional free roam style missions, like go here, kill a bunch of dudes, and in this case, capture the target and take it back in a slow van. If you're lucky, you drive all the way to Polito, or if you're like me, you don't know what Polito Bay is and you find a new session. They don't provide as much of a challenge as the most wanted targets, as, like I said before, they're very simplistic. You kill a bunch of dudes and that's pretty much it. There is one particular mission in there where you have to, like, you know, search through CCTV cameras, which if anything is more obnoxious than actually like trying to change it up, I suppose. But outside from that, yeah, they're fine. You know, they're okay. I do like the fact though that they have made a big emphasis on trying to capture them alive and haven't made that something that's a hassle. If you kill a bounty target, you miss out on 75% of the payout, so that's probably a good enough incentive to actually try to capture them alive. Whether you do it through a stun gun or just by disarming them, both will work perfectly fine. I do feel though that they've done a good job with the disarming mechanic, as it's not really much of a hassle to try to disarm someone, because like I mentioned in the previous guides, they just shoot at you with a weak pistol, so disarming them really isn't much of a hassle, especially with the fact you can now easily apply snacks if you're low on health. It would be nice if there were some more different ways of how you could, like, you know, make them surrender, like shoot them in the leg, or being able to like knock them out with melee or anything along those lines, but Maybe with like the upcoming Shocker melee weapon, which is going to be part of the Halloween drip feed, this might be something that will become more viable or interesting. But given the fact that Halloween is 4 months away, I think at that point no one is playing this anymore. I'm standing here in front of the Bill House computer. Wait, who's on cooldown now? I don't know, I thought you were. You didn't do any of the dispatch missions, did you? I can do those? No, don't! To be serious for a second, everything has a cooldown nowadays, and it's just getting silly at this point. The regular bounties in this DLC have a 48-minute cooldown. The most wanted bounties have a day cooldown, and the dispatch missions, for some bizarre reason, have a 5-minute cooldown. 5 minutes. What am I gonna do in 5 minutes? Play a race? Well, by the time I found a full lobby, I can go do a new dispatch mission. Play some of the old content that I've done hundreds if not thousands of times before? No! I want to play the new DLC. I don't want to sit there, wait for 5 minutes, or just wait upon cooldown, 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 cooldown. Sing it with me, everyone. Everybody do the cooldown. No! I want to play the new DLC. I want to play the new content. I want to see and develop strategies for that, you know? Explore that. Now, while the missions and the content in this DLC at the bare highest bar is decent, I still want to check out something new. I don't want to play the old shit that I've played like for years already. It's like Rockstar trying to stretch out this tiny piece of cheese and just trying to stretch out the inevitable, like a virgin trying to delay the fact that they have to tell their missus, like, yeah, by the way, I never touched a woman before. It's like, we are aware of the fact that there's barely any content in this DLC. That's okay, right? We understand. You're busy making a game everyone is far more interested in than GTA Online right now. But at the very least, let us play the content. I don't want to wait 48 minutes to do the same mission again, right? I get it. You want people to not play the same business over and over and over again. That much is true, right? Cooldowns in that regard make sense. But you're taking the piss if you're gonna start taking a 5-minute cooldown on a dispatch mission. Like, if it's about the money, let's be honest. You just spent $5 million on a cop car. $25,000 for what, a 5-minute mission isn't exactly gonna break the bank, is it? That doesn't even add the fact that you have to buy a cop car in order to get the new cop cars. Now, luckily, we are able to use the old cop cars to do the dispatch missions, but still, ridiculous. Why do I have to own a previous cop car to do... And the main reason why I'm so upset about the cooldowns is because I absolutely loathe them. The game is filled with it. I've reached a point where, in order for me to continue with the dispatch missions, I've gone back to do agency missions for my tier 4 challenge, so then in that time, after I'm done with that, I can do a dispatch mission again. This is the intended way of Rockstar for you to approach this content. Having said this, some of these agency missions don't take 5 minutes, so I found myself playing an agency mission and then still having a cooldown on the dispatch missions. It's just ridiculous at this point, and quite frankly, I'm just done with GTA Online constantly going cooldown, cooldown, cooldown. You cannot, no, 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 not allowed, not allowed, cannot. I loathe it. It is so irritating just to be constantly restricted and being told that you're not allowed when you just want to play the fucking game. I just want to play the new content. I know there's barely anything, but let me play it. That's all I ask. Oh, hey, look! A text message from Mrs. Marshmallow. I tell you, you just tell them to delete their account, deinstall the game and buy a 2000K plus PC to play The Sims instead. Well, there you have it, folks. The official review of the Bottom Dollar Bounty DLC, better known as Cooldown! If anything, I should cool down right now, because it's hot as balls in this room. But at the end of the day, if this means that GTA 6 gets more resources and more attention and will become a better game because of it, I'm more than happy to take another couple of DLCs like these.